So tonight is a night for volunteers because we felt there was a need to tackle, the whole volunteer file, and it really emerged naturally at the last meet and suite about a month ago. We realized there were actually a lot of people that wanted to volunteer, and we realized, okay, it's time to really see how we connect the dots. We have a lot of needs, there's a lot of energy available, how do we make that happen? The vision itself and the seed, the idea for the Western Well is a few years old already. But the moment when it became public is actually fairly recent. That was back in August, I think. It was the very first meeting. And at the very first meeting, I think there were 8 of us. And we had this project. We had already these flowers that has been at most of the info sessions. And we had a clear idea that we needed working groups to start. There were different directions, and all those would work together somehow. But that's kind of where we started. We didn't have the resources to start all 8 groups at the same time, and there was no need for that. What was felt is that, well, if we want to get the word out, we really need to create an event to let people know what we're about. So that was the first meeting of the membership team, plus a bit of promo marketing. So that's really how it started. There were about 8 or 10 of us. I think none of us was supposed to be in the membership group. When I joined, I wanted programs, someone else wanted, design and so on. But the need was really, okay, well, this is what we need to do. So, okay, so everybody joined, and that's how we started. And just in a few weeks, we had the format and the material for the info session. And that was in September. So it really started very fast. And right after September, this group kind of, not split, but started different projects, different groups. So with only a few people, when we started, there were really quite a few big projects. So the whole fall period for the membership, which was at that time was really Joss and I, was really put all our efforts into getting the word out. First, the info session, and then we had the meet and suite. Some others went to promo and marketing. It was very important to develop the corporate image. If we wanted to connect with people, it was important to get the website started, to get social media and so on. So we really went deep on the ground, on the field. And at the same time, we were starting the info sessions. And we had 2 surprises with the info sessions. The first one is that many people showed up. So that was a very good surprise, but we had no idea. The first one, it was really family and friends. So, I said, well, okay. The second one, lots of new faces. So I said, okay, but, what about the third one? Maybe there will be 15 people. And then more and more people showed up. So we were very happy. But the other thing is that lots of people say, I want to volunteer, I want to help. And there are like 3 of us doing 10 things. And there's this influx of people that want to help. Some of the groups haven't started. And just to give you an idea of the response that we had, just in the membership group, we had about 45 people that said, we want to help. And there were 2 of us doing, sure, but we don't know what, we don't know how, because it was such a new project. We just didn't know. We were just very happy. There were people, but that was it. In the promo and marketing, there were about 42, 43. In the program, which hadn't started yet, there were 55 people. So some people were, in several groups, but this is not one of the petals of the flower. So we had a very clear mandate for some of them, but that whole volunteer, wave of energy, we hadn't planned, there should be people to deal with that. So membership, Joyce and I said, well, okay, yeah, we can do that. So because the welcoming part, the connection part, the community part is so important, I said, well, we are going to call everyone. So we started calling, one-on-one and meeting people for coffee, and it was wonderful, but after 2 weeks, I said, there is no way. There is no way because, we need to work also during the day. So that's when we started sending emails, saying, I'm sorry, we are not following up, the way we would like to, but, we will follow up, so don't worry. So from the outside, it may have seemed that, we want to help and there is nothing happening. So I just wanted to give you this background because this is really how it started. We are a business, so we are going to open in so many months. There are things that really need to happen. So I think for everybody that volunteers here, there is this recognition that it's not just any project where if things don't happen, well, that's okay, we can do that next year, or it won't happen, then that's okay. So we realize as volunteers we need to always remind ourselves that we are a for-profit organization, and one of our values is sustainability. And we say if we have to nurture, this part of the business, because otherwise, well, we just won't last. So it's important for volunteers to be aware of that. At the same time, we are not just any business, and we are volunteer. So there is this other element which is just as important, which is we bring what we can bring, and we bring what we have. We are always very careful about support. So there is one piece which is, okay, well, I understand I have to make a commitment, and there is really an ownership that we have. There is a collective ownership that financially and at several levels, actually, we collectively own the Western Well. So there is this ownership piece. There is individual ownership, which is, okay, if I commit to this group, if I commit to this task, I understand how important it is because volunteers have a huge impact on this organization. We have staff, and there will be more staff when the co-op opens, and there will be obviously incremental, in making the business work. But at the same time, if there were no volunteers, there probably wouldn't be a Western Well co-op. This is how much we bring. We bring energy, we bring skills, we bring connections, we bring neighbors, we bring ideas, and so on. So it is a huge piece that we are bringing and that we have to recognize. So collectively and individually, everything we bring, whether it's 2 hours a month or 20 hours a week, is a big contribution with a real impact on the organization, on the community, so socially, and also on the business aspect of the Western Well. So we felt it was important to share that because not all projects, have this hybrid element of having, several pieces in one. So this part was very important for us. And at the same time, as we said, we want mutual support, we want to remain sustainable. So how do we make sure as volunteers we don't get burnt out? How do we make sure it doesn't become too heavy? And from the Western Well perspective, how do we make sure that when volunteers come and say they do something, that it will happen? Because otherwise what happens? So I think the biggest challenge we've had so far, which is also the most interesting one, is how do we combine both? How do we make sure we don't go too much on the business side and become very rigid about bottom lines about this and forgetting about the hard piece, and resist the temptation to only focus on the nurturing part. So I think it's a beautiful challenge, and collectively, and anybody that wishes to volunteer or to work at the Western Well, should remain aware that that's what we're dealing with. So we didn't know when we started. This became conscious recently, and we realized, hey, we are building our culture here. But this is the beauty of doing that together, doing the info sessions and having the meet and sweet, because this is how we see things emerging. And that was definitely a very big piece for us, that realization. But what we did, we contacted all the working groups, and there are a couple of task force now on the side, over the last couple of weeks, and we have people, do you have needs? Do you need people? What kind of help do you need? How long would it take? What kind of skills would it take? So these activities, some of them will be short-term, some of them will be long-term, but this is really, we gathered everything from everybody which we put into this document, and then we grouped it in 3 different groups, depending on your interest, depending on how much time you have. So in the first group, you have everything which is related, if you remember from the info session, the little boxes, one of them was called cleaners. So it's really, I want to help. I don't know what you need, but I just want to help, I want to do something. And for us it's great because it's probably the largest group of people. It doesn't require a huge commitment in time. It doesn't require training, but it's very important to have quite a few people, maybe 20, 30 maybe in this group or maybe more, because this is what we show on the outside. When people come, new people to an info session, or when the Western Well opens, this will be the people that will welcome, that will make sure that everybody that comes in feels at home. They are not just customers, they are customers and friends and neighbors and so on. So we will need people, just like we do at the info session. There are usually 5, 6 people that are here, you know, would you like some tea? Bringing homemade cookies. That's a very big part of it. So if you don't have a lot of time, this would be a very, very good group to be in. You don't have to be in one group or the other. You can pick all 3. You know, if you have 40 hours a week, I mean, I'm sure you can find a bit in each group. But this is really the hard quality in that first group. In the second group is a different kind of activities. These are activities that require a stronger commitment, at least in time. They will require a bit of training. You need to know how we work internally. So it doesn't take long necessarily, but you need to know after, you know, a few days or a couple of weeks, you know, oh yeah, okay, I need to do this, I need to contact this person and so on. So it won't take long, but there is a bit of a commitment. Some of these tasks, depending how much time you have, can be maybe 15 minutes per day, but they would be every day. So there is a commitment, so we would ask for a commitment of probably several months. And then the time you have, that we can tailor. We can find the activity that is right for you. If you have 3 hours a week, okay, take this. So they are really, I think, and that's what we try to do, to remain flexible, because we don't want to put a burden. I say, you said you would say that, and you know, we told at the meet and switch, you know, about delivery and owning the thing and commitment and so on. So, but we don't make it, you know, a lifetime mission. We understand that we are volunteers. We may go on holidays sometimes that happen, or we may be starting a new job, and you know there will be less time. So what we try to do is create small teams doing similar work, so that if you have more time this month, okay, not a problem. You are taking the info session, or you are updating this part of the website. And if next month you don't have that much time, no problem, you know, there is someone else coming in. So we really try to design something to make it as flexible as possible. So there will be a bit of training, we would require a commitment for probably several months, but we are really trying to, it has to remain fun, basically. You know, if it becomes a chore, you know, it's not good for anybody. In the third group, these are very specific positions. In our group with Joyce, maybe some things in promo and marketing, you don't need a huge training, you know, a few days and that's it, you know, you're part of the team. There are other teams that do very specific work, legal matters, human resources, reporting, governance. So we are talking really long-term here, and it would be a stronger commitment. So all these very specific jobs, we would need to find maybe 1 or 2 persons for one very specific function. So that would be in the third group.